What is going on, world? Welcome back once again. My name is ZacNovak and this is ZacNovak Plays Games. In today's video, we've got the Witch Queen, the VIDOC. Bungie launched it a few hours ago. People have been talking about it. It's pretty freaking hype. I have not seen it. I have not seen anything about it, but let's get into it. Roll intros, and I do hope you certainly enjoy. Alrighty, so we've got the video here, all the good stuff that's actually available, but I did actually go through and I recorded it, so yeah, you know, let's actually watch it with VLC because it's a little bit higher quality and a little less stuttering because my internet is not great, but I'll break down some of the things that I do actually notice, some of the stuff I want to talk about when I just, you know, go through it. I'll pause it, talk about the stuff, continue on. If you guys like this kind of content, let me know in the comment section down below. Leave a like, subscribe to the channel, because maybe I'll have some more of this stuff if you guys actually do enjoy it. But yeah, the Witch Queen VIDOC. Pretty excited.
I know what you're wondering. What is true and what is false?
The Witch Queen is an unsettling mystery. Our biggest foe, Sabathune, has our...
Wait, did I just see that right? Was that a guardian with a pumpkin head? Is this
The Witch
saying
Queen
about a new
is an
event?
unsettling mystery.
No, it looked like a pumpkin head. Okay, this gear in itself, we've seen this, yes. Some of these weapons, maybe not. That looks like the new actual submachine gun that potentially is a linear fusion. No, that's a pulse rifle. That's a pulse rifle. That's got to do with either the new stuff or the old stuff. I can't tell.
Our biggest foe, Sabathune, has our grandest tool, the light.
It's paying off narrative threads that we planted way back in Destiny 1.
I'm here to protect humanity.
How do we stop this?
The stakes in the universe are rising, and it's the greatest challenge that we've ever faced.
We're shedding that dogma of light equals good, darkness equals bad.
Wait, so we've got Cabal that just knock us off from places. Is that where they're taking this inspiration? Because that's kind of what it seems. It's like these knights.
Of light equals good,
Hey,
dark.
get back.
How do we
These
stop
knights-
this?
turn down
The
a bit.
stakes in the
These knights
universe
that
are
have the ability
rising,
to
and
just
it's the greatest challenge that
and
we've ever
launch us
faced.
back.
We're shedding
That's
that
gonna be
dogma
bullshit.
of light
Bungie, what? I mean, yeah, that's cool, but yeah, continue.
equals good, darkness equals bad. We're really entering the mists and trying to discern what's in front of us and what's lurking just underneath the surface.
What is your truth now?
No way. Okay, I'm gonna be doing this through this whole thing. I do apologize if you guys don't endure that, but what? Okay,
What's lurking
that is definitely water,
just underneath the
and those are definitely worms.
surface.
What is your truth now?
There are a lot of bombshells in the Witch Queen narrative. And that's just scratching the surface of what we're going to get into this year.
Witch Queen and Season of the Risen is
Mars.
chapter 1 and the beginning of the end for the Light and Darkness saga.
We're really getting to the core of what it means to be a guardian. We are looking at and asking big questions about the light and darkness.
We have a big bad that we've been anticipating for a really long time coming back in the form of Sabathune.
Sabathune's had a hand in most of the major conflicts that we've been involved with.
We've heard about Sabathune for years and just bits and pieces, and then like you see it slowly building over seasons until we come to this huge critical point.
Sabathune's no longer just someone you hear about.
She's not just interfering in little ways. She's now ready to take center stage.
Slate. 1, 2, 3.
Sabathune, she's larger than life. We wanted to make her feel imposing and very regal and dancing through motion in some way.
The light offers us a fresh start.
She's very manipulative. She is very ethereal, but she also has like that creepiness to her as well.
The way they did that, that's actually really freaking cool. That is in itself a really deep dive into gameplay mechanics that we don't actually see. Well, like not really gameplay mechanics, but like cutscene mechanics. This is pretty freaking cool. I like this.
She promised she'd help us out with this pyramid ship problem that's coming our way. But the reality of the situation is Sabathune is only on Sabathune's side. We've outlived our purpose, and it is to Sabathune's benefit to wipe us off that chessboard.
Did Sabathun ever actually say that she was here to stop us from the pyramids? Like to help us stop the pyramids or to stop the pyramids? Because that's probably something I missed. But if she did, that's not really what I think they were going for in the first place for D1. I think it's supposed to be that she is the antagonist to the darkness, that the light and the darkness is just one part of it. There's like 1, 2, 3, you know, Holy Trinity, all that kind of stuff. We'll see. But again, there's 3, what we've seen is 3 queen witches, whatever we want to call them. Yeah, continue.
She's lived among us. She has played us for fools. She knows us inside and out. And she's been a step ahead of us, like, the whole way. So how do you beat someone like that?
It isn't too late. You can still be forgiven. Be careful. I'll hold you to it.
In order to beat Sabathune, you need to understand Sabathune.
Her throne world is a manifestation of Sabathune's own personality, which is in Witch Queen going through a transformation through the light.
She has these areas that she's kind of trying to shun and push away. For the old hive areas, it's much more atmospheric, it's very dense, it's very claustrophobic, it's spooky. Then when you make your way into the Lucent hive area, it's a lot more open and broad.
So she's trying to push back the old version of the hive. Does that mean she just wants, you know, all hive gone and her own brood horde to exist? Because that sounds kind of freaking crazy and also really freaking cool. Because if that's like the new thing, potentially down the line, that could actually mean we do get hive guardians, like legit hive guardians, not just this, as you can see on screen. Yeah, I mean, Animorphs kind of called it a few years ago, but I mean, hey, Bungie's, they're on their own terms. We'll see what's going on.
It's definitely brighter, it's definitely more lively.
We want people to look at it like an impressionist painting, something that's very pretty from far away, but as you get closer, it's not really what it seems. It's very unsettling.
You're looking at shapes, you're looking at these things within the world, and you're not entirely sure what they are, and you have to get close and you have to investigate.
What's really going to be exciting for players is that they're going to get to play that part of psychic detective, trying to solve the many mysteries of the throne world.
Witch Queen campaign, I think, is probably the most ambitious campaign we've made in a very long time.
We're building the definitively Destiny campaign, so leaning into the journey you can find in exotic missions or the mechanics you might find in a dungeon.
He said exotic missions. There's more exotic missions coming. That's hype.
You have to kind of think your way through. You have to figure out, like, hey, what do I need to do next in order to get to the end of this?
We've got Sabathune, right? The Queen of Lies. So this campaign is full of surprises.
Sabathune has all these abilities, and you got to make sure that all of the abilities of the bosses would be something worthy of her. And as I kept thinking about this, you know, I felt like I was really becoming Sabathune.
We've also added the legendary difficulty, which is called Become Legend.
It's...
What? That looks sick.
Thinking about this, you know, I felt like I was really becoming
whole change up for what these new things are. Classic. That's pretty cool. 1360. We can see that recommended power light. Yeah. There's something over there. I think it says the Enclave, which that's kind of cool. It means that there's actually something there. But I'm interested because, as it says, you will face harder missions and stronger combatants recommended for experienced players with a broad arsenal to draw upon. Still cooperative, 1 to 3 players, 1360. So that's good to know.
So added the legendary difficulty.
All this stuff, as you can see, 1501, yeah, 1360 is what it is. There is some stuff on screen we haven't seen before. This little red icon, yeah, that's new. Pretty sure that's something to do with lockout or some form of lockout because it's got a lock on it. But, yeah.
Which is called
these guardians, or hive guardians,
I'll become
whatever you want to call them.
legend.
Hey, come on.
Becoming
VLC, what are you doing?
Sabathune.
I really don't like how VLC
We've
does
also
this
added
sometimes.
the
I think it's my
legendary
actual
difficult-
PC, because my PC seems to do this quite often. But this looks really freaking cool, especially because there's like these knives that are flying through the air. We don't know if they're coming from this guy. Seems they would be because there's more of them over here. But yeah, this dude's got a cape, and it's not just like a regular kind of hunterish cape. This thing is freaking cool. I want this. If we can get this some way, that would be really freaking awesome. But yeah, it does seem that acolytes would be more prone to being either light classes with solar, or I think we've only seen solar and void. So solar and void with the actual hunter style, I guess you'd call it, acolytes. The knights would be the titan juggernaut style, and of course the wizards are just male versions of the warlock. Wait, no, wizards. What are wizards? Wizards are just like witches, but they're like warlocks. That's gonna be cool. I wonder if they actually have void as well, because if witches have void, that's gonna be scary. Anyway, continue.
See, which is called Become Legend.
It's not for the faint of heart. It's going to be loaded with these moments that are going to be frustrating, almost like teeth gnashing, but when you get through those encounters, you're going to feel like really accomplished.
Double rewards, yeah.
As people who have worked on raids and dungeons before, being able to broaden that experience for any
What?
kind of player who comes in.
Is that like some form of eye tracking, or is that an actual part
Frustrating,
of
almost like
new
teeth
mechanic?
gnashing, but when you
'Cause,
get
like,
through
you
those
see that
encounters,
there,
you're going to feel like
it
really
changes out
accomplished.
to
Double
this. And
rewards, yeah.
As people who have worked
no,
on
wait,
raids
maybe
and
that's
dungeons
because
before,
they're
being
playing
able
on-
to broaden that experience for any kind of player who comes in is really.
is that? I'm just confused. I'm pretty sure that might actually be if you're playing on, you know, Xbox Live Play or whatever it is. That, yeah, thing. Anyway.
Yeah.
As people who have worked on raids and dungeons before, being able to broaden that experience for any kind of player who comes in is really important.
If the Witch Queen is the psychic detective fantasy and journey, then Season of the Risen is that same detective throwing on their flak jacket and defending Earth from the Hive Guardians and the Lucent Hive and Sabathune herself.
He's got knife tricks.
When Sabathune shows up on our doorstep with the light, the first person to lend us help is Keitel.
You want us to hit them? I need us to hit them.
She's got this light suppressing technology that the Cabal were using in Season of the Chosen, and now she's going to help us use that against the Lucent Hive.
When you're working with Keitel, she has a different approach. It's not about asking questions, it's about getting in there and extracting.
We don't really understand what happened when Sabathune actually was able to take the light. So the campaign in Season of the Risen in many ways is about that story. Guardians need to stop Sabathune.
Guardians need to stop Sabathun. Yeah. These are acolytes. Not acolytes. They're freaking scions. Like actual scions with what looks like hive weaponry.
We don't.
And acolytes. Is that an acolyte shadow? Or is that. No, that's still scion shadows. The scions. Sabathun has scions now? I thought they were just Cabal. Or is this how you remove? This might be how we actually remove the light from whatever actual characters we're fighting. Mini bosses or big bosses. That could be a really big thing.
Really understand what happened when Sabathune actually was able to take the light. So the campaign in Season of the Risen in many ways is about that story. Guardians need to stop Sabathune's advance beyond the throne world. And Sabathune poses an existential threat to everyone because she basically has an undead army.
In fighting the Lucent Brood, this isn't our first time in the game fighting other light bearers, but it is the first time that we'll be facing other light bearers that have much more relentless motives.
When you look at these Hive Guardians and when they do their abilities, you immediately make that connection like, oh, They are using my powers against me. As soon as we see the knight pop its super and it has 2 shields, you immediately are like, oh yeah, I see that connection. And then it's like,
Holy.
and then you're like, it hits you with those things and then you're dead. And it's just an amazing experience.
The Guardians themselves kind of feel like a fire team that you're fighting against. You got every class represented.
The Acolyte, when that character casts, does very similar thing as the player, like the Arc Wizard. The sparks go out, it's ready to go. If you're not smart about it, if you're not paying attention, you are essentially going to have to play that fight over again.
If you're successful in taking down one of these hive units that are wielding the light, you actually have to go up and kill their ghosts.
That was like one of my favorite things that we were able to do in this game, is just that moment where you crush the ghost.
It's kind of this moral dilemma. A ghost is your companion, and now suddenly you have one in your hand and you're about to crush it.
The first time it happens, you're like looking at your hand like, I can't believe what I've just done. Am I doing this? Should I be doing this?
I have a ghost.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
What
Like,
is going on?
What?
Sabathune and her Lucent Brood are the most dangerous enemies we've faced so far. And so we're going to need better, more powerful weapons and tools to fight against that threat.
We did a bunch of work early on looking at various different types of weapons we could add to the sandbox.
We wanted to introduce a special weapon archetype that was effective more at a middle range, but also had these kind of additional roles associated with it.
The Glaive.
The Glaive is a projectile weapon, and it is a shield, and it's a melee weapon. We wanted to keep that experience in first person. It has an immediacy that you don't really get when you're using a sword because the camera is so much further back. Because this is also a projectile weapon with a slower moving projectile, the onus of skill on aiming these weapons is about leading and compensating for the speed of the projectile and anticipating that. If you're in a really difficult encounter and one of your teammates dies somewhere out in the open where you normally wouldn't be able to get to them, you can bring that shield up and actually get the revive and then fall back.
What is the range gonna be on that fire attack? Because that might be something that could be crazy.
Glaives originate with Sabathune trying to steal an extremely powerful weapon for her own use, and players will use the weapon crafting recipes that they find throughout the campaign in order to reconstruct this incredibly powerful and incredibly ancient weapon.
When you put together your glaive in the campaign, you just get a taste that that's what you want to do for the rest of the weapons that you get.
Weapon crafting lets you target a specific role and go and build that, and you know how long it's going to take.
Wait, that right there.
Or the rest of the weapons that you get.
Weapon crafting lets you target.
Create a new weapon or modify an existing weapon. That is actually really freaking sick. I was not expecting modification to come back. That's hype. We had in D1. Definitely could be used in D2.
A specific role and go and build that.
Doesn't look like very many of them have changed, but weapon shape come to pass and Sweet Sorrow, that looks pretty decent.
And you know how long it's going to take you to get there, and you get exactly the thing that you want.
Father's Sins, Thoughtless. Yeah, that's a pretty good name for a sniper, I guess.
I really want to see what people do with it and like the feedback that we're gonna get.
Oh, what? The Enigma. So there might actually be multiple glaives, potentially. I only say that because it seems like the name The Enigma wouldn't just be given The Enigma, would call just the Glaive if it's, you know, its own thing. But wow, that actually looks pretty decent. Range is 50. Okay, that's all right. Magazine size 5. Yeah, okay. This could be interesting. Neutral element. That's something now we need to actually upgrade things. Cool. Kind of like D1 style of stuff. Very much so.
And people sharing all of the things that they're doing with that new system.
You're creating your guardian.
And like the feedback that we're gonna get and people sharing all of the
Blink,
things
and
that
it's
they're
gone. Weapon footage from an ancient memory, purpose-built for your hand. Hybrid melee/range polearm with a frontal shield generates energy on dealing ranged attack. LT is press. Raise shield depletes depleting energy over time. RB, kinetic, melee combo. Pretty freaking cool. Okay. It's actually got some perks that we haven't really seen before, but that looks like a perk that could have something to do with Trials of Osiris or Osiris something. That's obviously got to do with speed or moving faster.
That new system.
You're creating your guardian, and you want to be able to shape your guardian into
It and like the feedback that we're gonna get and people sharing all of the things that they're doing with that new system.
you're creating your guardian, and you want to be able to shape your guardian into what you want them to be. And this gives us a great opportunity to continue to do that.
This is a really big season for weapons in particular. We've got 8 brand new exotics. Trigger exotic submachine gun. This is something which Guardians have made, but it's modeled after weapons of sorrow, like Thorn and Touch of Malice. Fires swarms of tiny homing projectiles that land on a target and then explode in this poison burst.
Thorn
We have an
SMG.
exotic machine gun, where the whole idea is be the Colossus. You can launch a barrage of up to 20 homing missiles.
It's a comical amount of projectiles on the screen.
We're doing an exotic Glaive.
They literally have just gone back and they're like, you know, something really awesome in D1. Well, we had this idea about this thing that was able to fire a bunch of volleys of rockets. We'd call it the dubious volley. And then it ended up becoming something in the game, and we've actually got it. But this thing in itself, this seems like the idea of the original dubious volley, just next level on top of itself, just kind of going freaking crazy. This thing looks beast, and the sound that it makes,
Of up to 20 homing missiles.
it's cool.
It's a comical amount of projectiles on the screen.
We're doing an exotic Glaive for each class this time, and the exotic perks tie deeply into the mechanics of the classes.
3 exotic
I think
glaives,
they're going
called
to be
it.
really cool additions to build crafting. We've got, the usual suite of raid weapons, destination, activity, seasonal. I recounted it this morning. I think it's about 50 new weapons.
You're going to have 2 new exotic armor for each class, totaling 6, 1 stasis, 1 non-stasis. The Titan stasis exotic. Cast your barricade, and instead of, this Traveler's Light and the Rally Barricade, you create a giant wall of ice. Even though this thing is massive, you still get all the benefits of a Rally Barricade. Warlock Void exotic, we called them the Devouring Rift legs because we wanted Empowering Rift to feel like it had a place in endgame content the way that Healing Rift does. Empowering Rift doesn't heal you. Well, what if it did?
In Season 16, you're going to see a massive revamp to the Void subclass system.
That's
across
just
all
blowing my mind. Okay, can we just... That is freaking cool. I'm just... A devourer well.
Endgame content the way that
Literally.
Healing Rift does.
You can
Empowering
make
Rift
yourself
doesn't
into
heal
a
you. Well,
complete
what if it did?
poison-powered warlock.
In Season 16, you're going to see a massive revamp to the Void subclass system across all 3 classes. This is a huge update and will allow players to build craft in ways that they've never done before.
Oh.
One of the things we wanted to do
I don't want to be
is
spoiled on that,
create a
but some of those things right there.
Update and will allow
Where it
players
changes, if you actually look at this melee final blows, grant melee
Build
energy,
craft in ways
yeah, cool,
that they've
we know
never
stuff like that. Your legendary void does more damage, increases
done
duration
before.
and stuff. Final blows when surrounded by combatants grant super energy. Okay.
One of the things we wanted to do
Was that? No. For a second, I thought that we actually had something a little bit different. I thought there was maybe there's some change up in some of the grenades, because that looks like there's more than what we actually had for regular grenades. I'm just throwing it out there. I thought we had 3. It seems that there's more than 3. That's interesting.
Before.
One of the things we wanted to do is create a core set of verbs like we did with stasis.
Anyone.
Yeah. I love it that I can't press buttons quick enough.
Craft in ways that they've never done
So,
before.
Again,
one of the things we wanted to do
a lot more
create a core
grenades.
set of verbs like
Vortex grenade, axion, scatter grenade, magnetic. So it's 4 grenades? I'm confused. Okay, this is interesting because some of these are a little bit.
we did with stasis.
Some of them are a big change Cast your rift to create a void soul. When you damage your target with a weapon, or your void soul flies to them and drains them, doing damage and weakening them. When a target is being drained, you are granted grenade and melee energy if you're running healing rift, or health if running empowering rift. Oh my god, this thing in itself is taking Thorn to the next level, where it's not just dealing poison damage, it's getting that health back.
Anyone can run suppressors now. I think that's the pretty cool thing to be able
I'm going to be running suppressor grenade.
Done before.
One of the things we wanted to do is create a core set of verbs like we did with stasis.
Anyone can run suppressors now. I think that's the pretty cool thing.
That's not cool. That's not freaking cool. That's just going to take things and make it crazy annoying in everything, especially if the Hive have suppressor abilities with their void.
I'm going to be running suppressor grenade probably.
We wanted you to feel like you were the energy vampire, feel like you were the Night Stalker, feel like you were that protector, that big Sentinel Titan. So you're going to see things like Bastion, the new Titan aspect, where you take your big old Sentinel shield, slam it, Night Stalker. Feel like you were that protector, that big Sentinel Titan. So you're going to see things like Bastion, the new Titan aspect, where you take your big old Sentinel shield, slam it into the ground, and create this void barricade that's going to apply overshield to you and your buddies.
My favorite aspect is probably Child of the Old Gods. As this warlock controlling space and time, I'm able to rip a hole into another dimension and then pull out this little like sentient black hole. Whenever I target an enemy, my little black hole buddy is going to fly over there and start draining their life force.
The Void 3.0 update is really setting the stage for how we're thinking about updating the subclasses for the rest of the year.
We're going to extend this philosophy to Solar and Arc. Solar obviously is going to be about burning, but there's this other component to Solar, and that's healing. Arc is all about chaining. It's all about lightning, direct attacks, quickness. We're going to take the fantasies that you know and love today. We're going to embellish them. So what you'll see is like all of the new abilities, all the new actions you take, reinforce that to the core. Pretty excited about it.
Okay, so they just said about, Solar being about healing and all that stuff. D1, we had self-res. This could be something where I'm just like way overthinking things, but if we get self-res back, oh my god, Warlocks again. Just, yeah, wow.
Witch Queen is very much the culmination of the last 6 to 7 years of just Destiny altogether. And really, this is starting the road to the final showdown. But things aren't necessarily just dark and light anymore. There's a lot more nuance in the game.
It's going to be a real fight. Players have something that they're really going to be challenged by.
I can't wait for everyone to find out what's been going on with Sabathune. Like, I'm excited.
You Guardians are so clever, aren't you?
From the throne world to the campaign to the customizable build crafting, it all comes together to make Destiny feel really new and fresh.
We've got more Destiny coming this year than any other year before. It's one of the most ambitious releases we've ever put together, and the team is firing on all cylinders.
More releases than ever, you say?
What do you think you're going to do?
Ambitious releases we've ever
Invisibility
put together,
on a Warlock after a melee?
Tell me, Guardian, what do you think you're going to do?
Destiny coming this year than any other year before. It's one of the most ambitious releases we've ever put together, and the team is firing on all cylinders.
Tell me, Guardian, what do you think you're going to do?
Well, that right there, that's pretty freaking cool. I will honestly say, Bungie, you and yourself, well, this thing is just, it's crazy. Everything we've actually got going on, all the different changes that's actually coming in the game in the future. There is a lot of things to actually talk about. First thing I do want to talk about mainly is, well, we kind of actually have now got a hint as to what Sabathun really wants. I think, potentially, It's to free the worms. It's to free herself, not just from her own worms, but so she can actually be the ruler slash kind of queen of all the darkness. She herself wants to actually take the darkness, become the darkness, but use the light's power to drain all the light so there's no light left until only darkness remains. It kind of seems like it's a big cyclical thing where the darkness started everything off and then the light came in, and then the darkness is going to snuff out the light, and then it's going to do the same thing again. We'll see if this is actually going to be the same way that things go. But with the changes to the actual subclasses, yes, it's cool that we've actually got Void 3.0, but we've also got Solar 3.0, Arc 3.0, and there's a bunch of other stuff that's coming. The idea of actual Hive Guardians and that whole evolution into the future could be really freaking cool, especially if, like, you know, we kind of go through that whole aspect of saying, well, we ourselves evolve and all that stuff, and maybe having these abilities, these like connections to the darkness, brings us more in line to actually becoming the next whatever it's going to be, whether it be called a guardian or it's something else. Because again, remember, this is called Season of the Risen. The Risen in themselves, back in the lore, didn't actually have anything to do with guardians. The guardians in themselves became the guardians after they were the Risen. So that in itself does actually kind of come into it, where it's like, maybe these Hive Guardians, this is their time of being the Risen. So they're going to have all these other things, and then they're going to have all these other abilities. All this other stuff's going to come into it. I'm excited. Hopefully you guys are excited. Probably you guys are excited because this thing has got a lot of views. I don't remember how many actually it had on the YouTube channel. Let's just go and have a look quickly. It at the time had 725,000. Yeah, well, that's a good amount. I will honestly say that. So, knife tricks. I like knife tricks. But yeah, Bungie, you're doing a way good job with what you're actually doing. Some of this stuff, again, you've been working on it for 6 to 7 years. It's a long time, 5 to 6 to 7 years. I can't remember how long it's been. It's been a long time. You guys have been freaking telling this same story of the darkness and mentioning about Sabathune and about all this stuff. And now we actually maybe get to actually see the secrets of the Scions as well. That could be cool because, you know, we had all 3 flavors of Scions in D1. We could take their cloaks, and maybe they've got cloaks in this one that we can take, potentially, maybe. Also, that Hive Guardian cloak that we saw from, like, you know, the Blade Dancer guy. It's freaking awesome. Let's see if I can just... I went way too far in the video for let's just skip through it. Yeah, I want to see if I can find it, because it's, in itself, it's one of those things where it's like, well, yeah, it's gonna be freaking cool. That's not gonna be cool. When we literally see that first night and he just brings out shields, and as he says, he just bam, bam, psh, and kills us. I guess it's gonna be fun, especially if you got friends or you're just experiencing it in a dark room. Yeah, that cape, I want that. We need that. And also, I really hope that the Warlock don't actually get a helmet that's like, you know, it's associated with this, because we've already kind of got... Wait, we already kind of got one. Maybe Bungie took experience from that, maybe a call from it. That in itself does actually kind of look like a worm on its head, though. But yeah. Anyway, bunch of things changing, bunch of things coming. As they said, there's going to be exotics, new exotic quests, new missions, new stuff like that. New, just a lot of things. Hopefully we actually end up getting to see a bunch of stuff that's callback from the past in D1 into D2. It would be really freaking cool, especially if we get some of that Scion stuff. I'm just really keeping my fingers crossed for that Scion stuff. And I'm kind of excited, scared, but also excited just for this whole Ghost Crush thing, where wondering if it's actually going to be, you know, very difficult if there's multiple of these enemies around. If it's like you can just go up and crush one, is it going to take you a long time to go and grab the other one and crush, and before you can actually grab the next one, that one's already rezzed, and then it's like you've got too many of them and we're being overwhelmed? Or is it literally just going to be 3 of them? Because that's what it seems. It seems so far Bungie's just showed 3 at a time. So 3 flavors, Void, Arc, and Solar. Be a wizard, an acolyte, and a knight. But if there's multiple, very interesting. Also Thrall. Is it going to be changed to Thrall? That would be fairly cool, but also really scary if we had like Void or Solar Thrall that actually had abilities to like throw stuff or anything. But so far from the Thrall we've seen, they just look like they're a little bit more badass because they've got like pins and little pokey things sticking out of them. We'll like that to see with all that stuff. We've got like, what's the date? Today is the 9th. 22nd. It's really not that far away. It's over 2 weeks, but still, it's not that far away. Hey, look, that guy just noticed. He had a little that red circly thing around him. So we still got these enemies that are going to be unstoppable, shielded. The other one, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm excited. Some of this stuff that is coming, weapon crafting, well, old school weapon crafting, where it's going back and changing weapons we already had this existing and then making them better, as well as making these new weapons. It's just crazy cool. Anyway, this has been ZacNovak. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section down below if you guys did actually like any of this stuff. Did you see any of this stuff in this video that you were like, oh my god, I know what that is, or oh my god, why is Bungie doing that? Or anything like that. Let me know in the comment section down below. Do all that good stuff. Share this video around. Leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll be sharing like Karen of He was Ed Sheeran. But until next time, this is ZacNovak signing off. Until next time, peace out.